Hey, what's up, you guys? WWE Fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review The Boss. So, The Boss stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Bell, and Peter Dinklage, and what this film is about, it's about when Michelle Darnell, who's one of the most wealthiest women on the planet, gets arrested for insider trading. 5 months later, she gets released from prison and she decides to make her way back to the top. She's going to start a brownie empire. So, what did I think of The Boss? The Boss is one big pile of horse manure, people. This movie is awful. It is such a terrible comedy. It is so bad. If you thought Tammy was bad, which is also horrendously awful, this is 1,000 times worse. The Boss is absolute garbage. It's awful. So, let's get into the positives. There are no positives with this film. So I guess we just can jump straight into the negatives. And my negatives are the acting. The acting is so horrendous in this film. Melissa McCarthy, who I've liked for the most part, even though in most films she's just playing the same old character, but in movies like The Heat or Spy, she's great in those movies. But here, her character is just a jerk. Like, really, she's so unlikable in this movie. She really is. She makes you not want to like her character at all. And she was just terrible in this movie. She's making the same old jokes here and there, the same falling jokes. It's just terrible. It really is. And, like I've said, I've liked her for the most part in films, but she's not good in this movie. She's pretty awful. Now, Kristen Bell, she's not terrible in this movie, but literally anybody could have played her part. Like, anybody. And she was just not that great in the movie. She could have done a lot better. And I just don't know what she's doing with her career as well. Like, it just seems like she's just like Miles Teller. Like, hey, I'm just going to star in a bunch of garbage movies now. So, yeah, Peter Dinklage, man. Seriously, what is this guy doing? Like, if you thought he was bad in Pixels, oh my goodness, he acts more like a cartoon in this than he did in Pixels, because holy, this dude is so over the top, so cartoonish, that it's just bananas. That's the only way I can explain it, because, man, it just gets ridiculous with his character. He was probably him and Melissa McCarthy were like the worst things in terms of acting of this film, because he was terrible. He was so cartoonish that it was really hard to take him seriously. I hear he's so great in Game of Thrones, but man, with films lately, he has not been doing good. So, yeah, and he was great in X-Men Days of Future Past, but just, what is he doing? Like, really? Oh man, the rest of the acting's horrendous. The comedy is terrible. My goodness, some of the jokes they make in this movie, I was just baffled because of how bad they were. And I couldn't believe what was coming out of some of these people's mouths in this movie. Like, really, some of the stuff you hear in this movie, you're just like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, really, the comedy is terrible. Some of the worst comedy you're going to see all year. Oh my gosh, the storyline is so stupid. Like, it's so dumb, the story with this film. Like, she's gonna build a brownie empire. Like, what? It's so stupid, and the way they execute it is just baffling. And I don't mean to keep on saying it, but stupid. Like, that's just the perfect way I can explain it. It's stupid. It really is. The logic is just all over the place. There's no logic whatsoever with this movie. The writing is horrendously awful. It is some atrocious writing. Seriously, these writers need to be fired, because whoever thought this was good writing, like, if Ben Falcone, who's the director of the film, really thought this was good writing, he needs a reality check, seriously, because this writing is horrendous. This is one of the worst screenplays I've seen all year. The directing is terrible. Like I said, this movie is directed by Ben Falcone, who is, Melissa McCarthy's husband. And he just doesn't know how to direct a movie. He really doesn't. First Tammy, now this film, he really doesn't know how to direct a movie. Like, just the directing is horrendously bad with this movie. Like I said, he just doesn't know where he wants to go with this movie. And the pacing, my goodness, this movie is boring. Like, when I tell you this movie is boring, this movie is boring. How do you make a comedy boring? How do you make me bored during a comedy? Seriously. I just could not wait till this movie, I couldn't wait for this movie to end. Seriously. Like, I was begging for this movie to end. Really, I was. Guys, The Boss is one of the worst movies of 2016. It is such a horrendous comedy. Man, this has not been a good year. This is starting to turn into 2015 all over again with comedies. Seriously. These comedies have been terrible this year. So guys, it's time for my official grade on The Boss. And my official grade on The Boss is an F. An F, F, F. This is awful, people. This is Melissa McCarthy's worst film to date. This is a horrendously terrible comedy. It is a piece of monkey garbage. It really is. And it's just so sad because Melissa McCarthy is funny in a lot of films, but man, in this, she's just terrible. And this whole movie is terrible overall. So, yeah, do not waste your time with this movie. Seriously, I cannot believe that this movie was #1 at the box office. So, what did you guys think of The Boss? Leave in the comment section below. I'm WWE Fan 0599, and we'll see you out later. Peace.